Okay? So, were you copy furnished of the result of your exam? It was, your exam was personally supervised by the dean. Are you aware of the result of your exam? Alam niyo ba yung resulta ng exam niyo? Hindi.
Sir, hindi po.
Ha?
Hindi po.
Ako, mabababa. Alam ko simple lang naman yung mga subject natin. Ang mababa ng mga score niyo. Some even attempted to cheat, to believe alik false answers, fake answers. Do you know what we call that? It's oh shit, naghang yata. Is my signal okay, class? Nawawala ba ako? O kayong nawawala?
Sir, okay naman po signal.
Okay ba? Wait lang ha. Save ko lang yung screenshot kanina. Para naman di sayang yung plus points nyo.
Sir, may dalawang classmates lang po kung di makaka-attend. Yung isa po ay may sakit. Yung isa naman daw po ay di po makapag-join sa Google Meet ka po ng gadget.
Sige, I will not be strict with the attendance. However, those present will be given plus points, di ba? Ang problema, he has or she has to watch or review the link of this recorded lecture for him or her to cope up. Why? Because most of your exam and quizzes will be lifted from our discussion. Okay? Just like what we did previously. Don't rely much on the notes. Kasi unfair naman sa inyo. Doon ko makikita yung talagang pumapasok. Kung hindi man makapasok, at least willing na mag-review. Wait lang. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share my screen. Our discussion for today will be more on, will be focused on Bureau of Fire Protection operations. Why? We are already done with the types of plans and also the types of PNP operations, di ba? We have tackled all of those. Di ba? Tapos na tayo doon?
Yes po, sir.
Oo, tapos na tayo. Share screen. Sabay share screen. So, we will be using the Bureau of Fire Protection Operational Procedures Manual Series of 2015. It is their latest manual. Okay? So, let's discuss the types of Bureau of Fire operations. Can you see my screen, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes po, sir. Yes po.
Yes po.
So, we have here the types of BFP operations. First on the list is fire safety enforcement. So, it pertains to the enforcement of law, the Fire Code of the Philippines, entire Philippines. Yan, di ba? So, when we say fire safety enforcement, fire safety, these are all the contents of our fire code. Yan. Thus, we have to enforce that. Which office specifically enforce the fire code of the Philippines? It is no other than the Bureau of Fire Protection. So, this fire safety enforcement includes 23 procedures which starts from the building plan review. Okay? So, this is in relation to the building code of the Philippines. So, this is a combination of your building code plus the fire code, okay, of the Philippines. Now, what is all about the building code? Yan po yung basihan natin, yung guide natin, bago pwede makapagpatayo ng bahay o ng structure ang isang Pilipino. Di ba? So, that's the building code. Now, in relation to the building code, it must require lots of prerequisites, such as first is ideally tax deed or title of the lot named to the owner. Yan, kung sino yung magpapatayo ng bahay, initially, dapat nakapangalan sa kanya yung title or yung tax deed, di ba? Ng lote. Aside from that, he must have this building plan. Yan, so meron na tayong building plan. Now, who does the building plan? Engineers, of course, di ba? So, dapat meron din building plan. Now, this building plan will be reviewed by the BFP personnel. And at the same time, if there exists a violation of the fire code of the Philippines, this fire safety enforcement, kaya nga enforcement, includes imposition of administrative sanctions. Yan. So kung mayroong nagpapatayo ng bahay na hindi dumaan sa tamang proseso, ladies and gentlemen, he or she will be penalized. Yan. Yan yung administrative sanction niya. Magkakaroon siya ng penalty. Kaya nga napapansin nyo sa mga munisipyo o mga cities. Di ba? Pag may papatayong bahay, ina-inspect yan ng mga personnel from the LGU, the City Engineering Office. Di ba? Ini-inspect yan. Aside from that, it is also inspected by the BFP. So, if there is a violation of the fire code in relation to the construction or reparation of a building, then that owner will be penalized. Yan, yung kanyang administrative sanction. So, pwedeng sakop ng administrative sanction niya yung stoppage of his or her project, suspension of the project. Pwede rin yan. Fire safety enforcement also includes filing of appropriate charges, and nasabi ko na, against violators of the fire code and addressing non-acceptance of the inspection order. Why? Because prior the construction of a building, mayroong inspection na gaganapin dyan, di ba? I-inspect muna yung structure. Kung saan ipapatayo yung structure. Aside from that, during the construction phase, another inspection will be conducted by the Bureau of Fire Protection. Same is true prior the completion of the project. Yan. So every now and then, ini-inspect kung nagko-comply ba yung owner in relation to the fire code. So ano ba yung importance ng fire code na to? Di ba? It ensures safety in relation to fire. So dapat walang faulty wirings. Ano ba yung mostly na causes ng mga conflagrations? Ano ba yung conflagrations? Fires, di ba? Fires in structures, buildings. Now, what are the main cause of conflagration? Pag may nasunog na bahay o kaya struktura, ano ba yung dahilan? Ano ba yung primary na dahilan? Mostly, ang lumalabas sa investigasyon ng mga Bureau of Fire personnel o Bureau of Fire investigator is faulty wiring, di ba? Hindi nawawala yan. Kaya kasama rin yan. I-inspect rin ng engineer kung tama ba yung mga wiring. Aside from that, ano pa dapat ang meron? So, dapat meron din tayong fire extinguisher. Aside from fire extinguisher, ano pa dapat ang meron? Dapat meron tayong emergency exit. Kung kinakailangan ng water hydrant, fire hydrant, dapat meron din. Diba? Tapos aside from that, dapat hindi tayo malapit sa linya ng kuryente. Excuse us. I'm not feeling well. I'm not feeling well. Inom lang ako tubig. Okay, so let's resume class. Are you still there? Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes
Are
po,
you,
sir.
are you hearing me loud and clear?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Yes po, sir.
Can you hear me loud and clear? Loud and clear?
Yes po.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So let's resume. You still have to listen and take down notes, class. You still have to take down notes. Now, in relation to the inspection of that building prior, during, and before finishing, whatever the result of the inspection is, that owner should accept it and comply whatever is needed to be complied upon. If he fails or intendedly ignores what the inspector requires, then he can be sanctioned, administratively sanctioned, and filed for appropriate charges. So yan, okay? Next type of operation is the firefighting operations. So, tingnan natin pagka fire safety enforcement, this is mostly concerned in terms of what? In terms of building, di ba? Construction and reparation of building, mostly yan. Yung fire safety enforcement. Second, the firefighting operations. From the word firefighting operations, from the word firefighting itself, it pertains to the response of the BFP personnel on reported conflagrations. Yan. So this section contains firefighting procedures for 14 categories of incidents. So what are those 14 categories of incidents? First on the list is in armory or explosive storage. Now, they have the Bureau of Fire Protection has an SOP. What is SOP again? Standard operating procedure in terms they will be encountering an in-armory or explosive storage conflagration. So ano ba yung explosive storage conflagration? Yan yung mga manufaktura ng mga dinamita, di ba? Explosives. O kaya may mga gumagawa ng bala. Nagkaroon ng sunog doon. So, ang laman doon, kung paano isasagawa ng BFP yung kanilang firefighting operations. Yan. So, in armory or explosive storage. Second is in basement. Yan. So, kung ang sunog ay nasa basement, paano ba dapat sila magresponde? So, when we say basement, underground po yan, di ba? So, ano ba ang dapat nilang procedure na sundin if in case the conflagration happened in an underground or in the basement? Next is in high-rise structures. Paano naman kung ang nasusunog ay mataas na masyadong structure? Ano ba dapat yung mga SOP? So, standard operating procedure. Ano ba dapat yung mga standard operating procedure and at the same time, the materials needed? Mostly, pagka high-rise structure yan, hindi mawawala ang ladder talaga. Kailangan talaga na natin ng ladder. Aside from ladder, ano pa kailangan? Yung mas mataas ang reach na hose, di ba? Mahabang hose. And so on and so forth. Next is in hospital. So, in hospital with radioactive materials. If in case one of the hospital with radioactive materials had a conflagration, nasunog, paano ba dapat din magresponde ang Bureau of Fire Protection? Be careful, ladies and gentlemen, because radioactive materials, when we say radioactive, it has something to do with radiation, yan. So, yan yung parang effect ng mga gadgets ngayon, technology, na kahit na hindi naman tayo nasugatan, yan, hindi naman tayo nasugatan, pero unti-unti tayong nagkakaroon ng mga sakit na hindi naman natin madaling nadidetect. Most of those are caused by radioactive materials. Yan, radiation, kumbaga, radiation. Kaya ngayon parating naghahawak tayo ng cellphone. Compare sa mga tao noon na wala masyadong cellphone, walang signal, walang radiation, mas mahaba ang buhay nila. Samantalang sa atin ngayon na maraming prone tayo sa radiation, mga malalakas na signal, medyo marami ang nagkaka-cancer, di ba? So, that's simply the explanation of how sensitive radioactive materials are. Thus, the BFP should have to be aware and be cautious in responding to those type of situations. Next is in jails or correctional institutions. So what again is the difference between jail and correctional institution? When we say jail, the personnel manning the jails are the personnel from the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. BGMP is under the DILG, di ba? Department of Interior and Local Government. Unlike your correctional institutions, it is being manned and guarded by the Bureau of Corrections or your Bucor. And Bucor, ladies and gentlemen, is under the Department of Justice. So, magkaiba. Now, in terms of persons being guarded or in terms of persons being guarded in the facility, what is the difference between jail and correctional institution? In jail, the persons confined therein are called inmates. So when you say inmates, they are not yet proven guilty. Okay? They are still undergoing trial. Mostly. Pwede rin may guilty, however, guilty of lesser or slight offenses, yung mga gaan na kaso. Unlike in your correctional institutions, the persons confined therein are called prisoners, di ba? Prisoners ang tawag natin sa kanila. So who are these prisoners? They are convicted by a final judgment of court. Yan. So they are convicted. So in jails, correctional institutions, of course, if there exists a fire in a jail or correctional institution, ladies and gentlemen, separate standard operating procedure should be maintained and observed by the BFP. Hindi pwedeng pare-pareho yung pag-responde nila. Bakit? Kasi kailangan rin nilang bantayan at tutukan rin yung mga preso para walang makatakas. Aside from that, while securing the lives and properties of all personnel therein, kung asan man yung sunog. Diba? So next is in LPG installation. So what again is LPG? Liquefied petroleum gas installation. We know for a fact that these are explosives. Diba? Vapor explosives. Same as your explosive storage. So pagka-sensitive yun ng explosion, kailangan din talagang bantayan yan. And ladies and gentlemen, there's still another separate method of responding in a configuration in LPG installations. Why? Because per type of material which caused the fire, there should be different type of response. Diba? Parang yung kahoy. Pagkakahoy ang nasunog, paano natin papatayin yung nasusunog na kahoy? Class. Any member of the class to make you active? Last points. Yan, sino? Sige.
Sir Betchida po.
Sige,
Ano po,
Betcheda.
by separating po. Separating method.
Separating method?
Or smoldering po.
Burning wood. Wood materials. Ano yung pinakamainam na gawin pagka wood material nasusunog? Separation is parang secondary siya eh. Ang primary dapat pagka ang nasusunog ay kahoy, di ba? Ang primary dapat ay any idea from the class?
Sir, pwede pong gamitin ng water.
Ayun, water, di ba? So, the usage of water. Okay? So, pwede yun. Now, next question. How about if the burning material is, let's say for example, caused by faulty electrical wiring? Yan. So, pagka yung sunog ay caused ng electrical wiring, how should we stop the fire? Paano dapat natin patayin yung apoy caused by electrical wiring? Any from the class? Instead of water, what material should we use to kill the fire caused by electric wirings? We can make use of electrical wiring. Can we make use of water sa pagpatay ng sunog caused by electrical wirings? Can we or we can?
Hindi po pwede.
Oh, di ba? So that's the idea. So hindi pwede ang liquid. So what should we use then? We can make use of powders or sands, di ba? So anong gamit niyo ng powder or dry powder or sand? Anong gamit niya ngayon? It kills the oxygen. Oxygen supply. Why? Because we have 3 elements of fire, di ba? Naalala niyo pa ba? Tapos yun na ba yung arson investigation niyo o hindi pa?
Ongoing pa lang po, sir.
Ongoing pa lang. Kaya pala medyo hindi niyo pa alam. Di ba? We have 3 elements of fire. We know for a fact that when we say elements of fire, these 3 elements should be present for us to be able to produce a fire. Di ba? Parang ganyan yung principle niya. Now, in the presence of let's say for example, 2 elements instead of the total number of 3 required elements to produce fire. Dalawa lang ang meron tayo. Can we still produce fire?
No po, sir.
Yan. Ideally, ladies and gentlemen, no, di ba? Because the 3 elements of fire should be complete. However, in every rule, there are exemptions, especially to those self-igniting materials. Yan yung mga pag na-reach niya yung minimum na amount niya, pwede siyang mag-apoy on himself, on itself. Such as, ano yan? LPG is one, di ba? Such as gasoline. Kahit na hindi natin yan sindihan, kahit na walang apoy na ma-introduce diyan, pagka nabilad sa araw at na-attain niya yung minimum igniting point niya, magsusunog yan, di ba? Masusunog yan itself. So those are the exemption. So my point there, ladies and gentlemen, is in every scenario, depending on the cause of fire and depending on the other factors we have to consider, yan, there exists a standard operating procedure. Next, in water vessels, docked at wharves or piers. So, if you say water vessels, ano ba yung mga yan? Diba? Mga ships. So, if in case there's a conflagration in a ship at a pier, how should the BFP how should the BFP personnel conduct the firefighting operation? So, it is all contained in this manual. It also includes here manner of responding and killing fire in oil depot. So, ano ba yung oil depot? Kung saan nagagaling yung, kung saan pinaprocess yung ating oil, di ba? Oil refinery. Yan, di ba? Kung saan nagagaling yung ating oils. Kung saan pinaprocess. So, meron ulit tayong ibang proseso. So, oil depot, refinery, or fires involving hydrocarbon substances. We also have fire in vehicles. Now, class, let's say for example, how do you respond to a fire or to a burning vehicle? Kunwari, may nakita kayong nasusunog na vehicle. Paano nyo papatayin yung apoy? A, would you kill the engine of the vehicle? Bravo, would you disconnect the batteries? Or Charlie, ano pa bang pwede mangyari doon? Instead of the absence of fire extinguisher. Sige, yun lang muna. Alpha or Bravo? Between Alpha and Bravo, what should be your best answer? If you saw a burning vehicle, how should you respond? Should you kill the engine of the vehicle or should you separate the battery? Disconnect the battery. Ay, ayaw nyo sumagot.
Sir, alpha po.
So the best answer is Alpha. Why? Bravo is not practicable. Bakit? You still have to find, di ba? Maghahanap ka pa ng tools. Yung kuminsan, mabilis yan eh. Lalo na pagka may umabot na sa wire, mabilis ang pagkalat ng apoy. Mga seconds, pwedeng kumalat na yan. So, basic is to kill the switch. Yun yung pinaka-basic. Excuse me. Next, construction sites, power plants with radioactive materials. Yan. So the BFP had a standard operating procedure in terms of responding to fires within construction sites. Fires resulting from bomb explosion. Yan. So ideally, this should be coordinated with the PNP. Now, what office in the PNP should the Bureau of Fire Protection personnel coordinate this type of incident? Bomb explosion. So, anong office ng PNP dapat sila mag-coordinate? Class.
What po ba?
The PNP EOD K9, di ba? So, ano ba yung EOD K9 again? Explosives Ordnance Division. So, the BFP should also coordinate with the BFP, with the EOD K9. Aside from the EOD K9, mayroon pa. Mayroon pa dapat silang pwedeng mapag-coordinatean. They may also coordinate with the PNP Forensics Group. Why? Because the Forensics Group also has with them a division named Post-Blast Investigation Division. So, meron din silang Post-Blast Investigation Division. So, saan sila tutulong sa investigation. However, in this type of operation, the firefighting operation, the primary task here is to kill the fire, di ba? So, kill first the fire prior the investigation. Now, ano naman ang tulong ng EOD? Bakit pa natin i-coordinate yung EOD? Yes, of course, for them to detect further bombs. Baka marami pang bombang nakaplan. Baka hindi lang isa. Baka marami pa. Which they have to detect and they have to anong tawag doon? Kung papatay nila yung bomba, they have to deactivate, di ba? So, yan ang gamit ng EOD and the forensics group. By the way, the BFP also has meron din post-blast investigation ng BFP, meron din. Pero ang problema kasi dyan is pagka marami kasing tao na nadamay o kaya malawak yung pagsabog, the strength of the BFP can't handle the case alone. So they have to do coordination with other proper authorities. So next are fires incidental to fireworks or pyrotechnic explosions. So marami na tayong mga incidenting ganito, di ba? Especially nowadays, this coming season, Christmas and New Year season. Yung mga gumagawa ng paputok. Sensitive kasi yung mga yun. Pagka nagkamali, pwedeng mag-cause ng sunog at ng pagsabog. Now, aside from that, not only that, mayroon din tayong mga bumibili ng paputok na sinindihan yung paputok. Tapos hindi pumutok yung paputok, ha? Akala ko hindi pumutok. Kaya ako nilapitan, sisindihan ko sana. Ayun, pumutok. Pumutok. Nasira na rin yung kamay niya, di ba? Yan. So, BFP can also respond to those type of operations. If there's fire caused by the fireworks or the pyrotechnic, we call it firefighting operation if their objective is to suppress the fire. But if their objective is to rescue the person or the individual who was victimized by a pyrotechnic explosion, naputulan ng kamay, then we categorize that type of operation into emergency medical service. Yan. Okay? So, pagkapagpatay ng apoy, firefighting operation. Pag rescue operations, emergency medical service ang tawag natin doon. Okay, class? Did you get that? Class.
Yes.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Para ko ba kayong masyadong binibaby sa pagsasalita ko? Para ba kayong grade 1? O sakto lang? Ha?
Sakto lang po.
Sakto lang? So we also have here fires resulting from plane crash. So pagka plane crash yan, mostly it happens outside the airport or pwedeng while in flight, airfield. Okay, so pwede yan. Kaya napaka-delikado yung babiyahe ka tapos sasakay ka ng eroplano. Bakit? Pagka yung eroplano nag-malfunction while in its flight, napakababa ng success rate na mabuhay tayo. Kaya kung ako pagpipiliin, barko o eroplano, at least yung barko, pagka nagka-problema, may pag-asa pang mabuhay. Pwede tayong basta marunong kang lumangoy, of course. Diba? Kung hindi ka marunong lumangoy, meron namang life jacket. Lulutang ka pa rin. Unlike yung sa eroplano, pagka nagka-problema, while in flight, nasiraan, nag-plane crash, mababa yung percentage mo of surviving. So, yun lang ang problema sa plane crash. So, in terms of plane crash, still, the BFP should respond to those type of operations. Tingnan mo to outside of the airport pa yan. Paano kung sa kagubatan, walang kalsada? Mas mahirapan ang fire truck. Diba? So, ano lang maabutan ng bombero pagdating nila dun sa area? Sunog na. Wala ka na maabutan na buhay dun sa mga sakay ng eroplano. All of those possible dead na. So, ang magiging objective na lang ng BFP dyan is to kill the fire para hindi niya sunugin yung buong kagubatan, and at the same time, at least, to kill the fire, to recover. Yan, at least to recover the cadaver ng mga patay para hindi totally maabog. Yun na lang. We also have here forest fires. Are you aware of the kaingin system? Mga tao nagsusunog ng mga kagubatan, that's bawal violation of our DNR law. So forest fires, we should also prevent forest fires. Now, how do you prevent forest fire? Let's say, for example, ladies and gentlemen, if forest or mountain fire, forest fire na lang. How should you kill the fire? Let's say, for example, if a hill, isang bundok lang if a hill on its eastern side is burning upwards. Yan. Nasusunog from its eastern part yung bantay. And the direction is from east to west, the direction of the wind. So ano dapat ang gagawin nyo? Paano nyo patayin yung forest fire? Pwede nyo bang, mapapatay nyo ba yung forest fire sa kagubatan or sa bantay kahit na wala kayong tubig na dala? Class? Is that possible? Sa tingin nyo, class, any idea? Can you kill a forest fire even without the use of water? Sige, answer.
Yes po, sir.
How?
Sir, ano po, pag po walang water, pwede pong yung putulin po yung mga puno pa pong pwedeng madamay para po hindi magtuloy-tuloy yung sunog.
Tama, di ba? Plus points for Mr. Orelliaza. Aside from that, can you see my mouse? My mouse on the screen. Nakita nyo ba? Hindi? Nakita nyo? Hindi. Yung mouse ko, yung mouse. Mouse lang. Wala? Wala kang nakikita?
Sir, wala po.
Sige.
Sir, wala po.
Sige. Anong nakikita nyo sa screen nyo? Yung
Yung manual po, sir.
yung manual pa rin.
Opo.
Okay, sige. Balik ko na ako sa manual. Wait lang. Nagulo ko. Hmm? Hmm. Ayun. Dito sa manual, nakikita nyo ba yung mouse ko? Gumagalaw? Nakita nyo?
Hindi po, sir. Wala pong gumagalaw, sir.
Ay,
Wala po, sir.
ayun lang ang problema. So, aside from the statement of your classmate, depende rin, di ba? Pagka let's say for example, imagine a one-dimensional mountain lang So, kunwari, mag-drawing kayo ng triangle. Mag-drawing kayo ng triangle. From the right side, kunwari, doon nanggagaling yung hangin, doon nanggaling yung apoy, di ba? Ngayon, from that, yung apoy, aakyat yan. So, aakyat yan, tapos at the same time, pagka nasa tip na yan, bababa pa yan, di ba? So, bababa ulit, tapos kakalat pa sa ibang mountain. Now, uh, another solution is you can burn also, di ba? Aside from putulin yung mga kahoy, kung hindi naman possible yung pagputol ng kahoy, bakit? Kasi wala kang lagari. Napadaan ka lang sa bantay, biglang nakita mong may sunog. So, papatayin mo yung sunog, di ba? Ganon. So, ang gagawin mo na lang, hanapin mo kung saan nanggagaling yung hangin, di ba? Kung yung hangin ay nanggagaling sa right, and at the same time, the direction of the fire came from the right, going to the left, paakyat sa top, tapos nakapapunta sa left, all you have to do is to set a fire. Diba? Magsiset ka rin ng fire to the opposite side, to the left side of the hill. Bakit? Para makalbo yung left side ng hill, para pagdating ng apoy from the right to the top, hindi na siya makakakalat. Bakit? Kasi wala na siyang kakainin. We call it starvation. Can you imagine what I am saying, class? Nasundan nyo
Yes
ba?
po, sir.
Nasundan nyo? Are you sure?
Yes po.
Now, tanong nyo, sir, saan ka naman makakakuha ng kahoy, ay ng apoy, kagubatan yon. Siyempre, yung kahoy, ay yung apoy, manggagaling din sa pinanggalingan ng apoy sa right side of the mountain. All you have to do is to carry a wood, yan. Tapos, while traveling to the left side of the mountain, dapat you have to secure na umaapoy pa rin yan para masunog mo yung left side of the mountain. Yan, so parang magmimit sila at the top. So, masusunog ngayon yung right side, masusunog din yung left side, pagmimit sila sa top. So, what you did is starvation, di ba? You prevented the fire from escalating to the other hills para hindi sila umabot sa ibang portion ng bantay. At least, yan. Di ba? So, next is vehicular, parang naulit tong vehicular fires. Yan. So, tapos na natin yan, vehicular fires. So, those are all the firefighting operations. Diba? So, when you say firefighting operations, their main objective, the objective of the BFP here is to kill the fire. Okay? Suppress the fire. And at the same time, suppress damages. So, when you say suppress, reduce, bawasan. Unlike your fire safety enforcement, their objective is to prevent faulty causes of fire or to prevent fire. Diba? So, ano ngayon ang mangyayari kung mayroon tayong hindi mga na-prevent na fire? At least we should have to kill the fire through firefighting operations. Okay? What if during the conflagration of a building, there are injured persons? So, pwede rin yan, di ba? Firefighting operation and at the same time, emergency medical service. So, sir, paano naman kung wala namang involved pero mayroong na-aksidente? Pwede pa rin. The BFP can still be called for rescue operations and medical services. Why? Because they are trained for that. So, emergency medical service, the section composed of 18 procedures covers not only how to perform emergency medical responses during fire or even disaster. Okay? So, hindi lang fire, pwede ring disaster. So, what are the other types of disasters? Landslide, di ba? So, landslide, pwede natin ma-utilize yung BFP for emergency medical services. Aside from landslide, what else? La Nina. Ano yung La Nina? Tagtuyo. Ano yung La Nina? El Nino. Tagbagyo. Di ba? Ay, baliktad. La Nina pala yung tagbagyo. El Nino yung tagtuyo without the presence of water. Di ba? Am I right, class? Class. So what again is the difference between El Nino and La Nina? Ala,
Sir,
differently.
El Nino po is tag-ulan and then La Nina po yung tag-ulan.
Yan, La Nina. La Nina tag-ulan, El Nino tag-tuyo. So, para hindi nyo makalimutan, alalahan nyo na lang yung patalastas ni Boysen. Yung pagong na kumakanta. Ano yung kanta niya? Who's afraid of La Nina? So, sinong takot daw sa bagyo? Hindi daw natatakot si Boysen kasi kahit na tagbagyo yan, hindi siya masisira. Diba? La Nina. So, those are the type of disasters. Earthquake. Diba? So, pagka may mga disaster na ganyan, kaingin, accident. So, pwede nating mahugot yung BFP. But also, incident rehabilitation. So, when we say incident rehabilitation, pagka kunwari may nasunog na bantay, pwede rin silang tumulong sa pag-rehabilitate doon sa nasunog na bantay, kagubatan. So, incident rehabilitation. Critical incident stress management. So, when we say critical incident, when we say critical, marami ang when we say critical, it is more on the damage. Kumbaga, marami ang halos mamatay. Yan. So, critical incident yung mga yan. Tapos, they have to reduce the stress. So, we call it critical incident stress management. Have you encountered a scenario, ladies and gentlemen, wherein nagkaroon kayo ng parang biglaang problema, tapos unexpectedly, hindi nyo alam yung gagawin nyo, nataranta kayo. Kasi malaki yung problema compared sa ini-expect nyo. Parang ganyan yan. Pagka nabigla kayo sa dami ng problema, nagkasabay-sabay, instead na may gagawin kayo, mukhang walang pag-asa, parang ganyan, di ba? So, that's one of the operations of the PFP. They have to manage stress caused by critical incidents. Bakit? Kasi pag hindi natin na-manage yung stress, mas lalong hindi tayo makakapag-respond appropriately, effectively, and efficiently. Next is emergency medical team protocols and decorum. So, meron tayong mga standard na protocol. So, means to say, pagka may nag-request sa kanila ng tulong, meron silang standard operating procedure na sinusunod bago sila mag-responde. Well, hindi natin sila masisisi because it's a part of security. Diba? Parang sa PNP lang din. Bakit? Sa PNP, di ba? Kunwari may nangyaring krimen sa isang far-flung area. May report, kunwari. Anonymous yung tumawag, anonymous yung caller or texter. Sabi niya, nag-text sa police station. Sir, meron pong mga hold up dito sa locality. Dito sa barangay na to. Nag-respond yung police. Pag-respond ng police, na-ambush pala sila doon sa side. So, means to say, NPA yung nag-text, di ba? So, ano dapat ang protocol doon? Dapat they have to verify the source of the information. So, same is true with BFP operation. There are also medical team and protocols to be observed prior their response. So, we were done with fire safety enforcement, firefighting operations, and emergency medical service. Let's now discuss, Let's now discuss the next one, which is special operations. So, what are special operations? So, this section presents 15 procedures for rescue operations. Yan. So, meron siyang rescue operations din, aside from the emergency medical service. Pero, rescue operations siya in specific types of incidents such as fires, natural disasters, accidents, and incidents involving hazardous materials, and CBRN. So, ano yung CBRN? Chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear. CBRN. So, CBRN, explosives and substances. Now, question. So, what is the difference between emergency medical service and special operations? Special operations involves the procedures to be undertaken for rescue operations in relation to fire, ladies and gentlemen, caused by hazmat. Ano yung hazmat? Hazardous materials. Ano yung mga hazardous materials? Poisons and explosives, di ba? And CBRN. So, pwedeng chemical. Ano ba yung mga chemical? Yung mga acid. Yung mga yan, di ba? Poison is also a chemical. Hazardous material din yan. Ano naman yung biological? Pwede nating isama dito yung anthrax. Anthrax is also biological. Yung mga anthrax, yung mga kinakalap doon, nanggaling daw sa baka. Tapos, pinulverize. Tapos, pagka may pinadala sa yung sulat, binuksan mo yung sulat, hinawak-hawakan mo, akala mo, sulat nga. Pero may laman palang anthrax. So, mamamatay kayo. Lahat ng makahawak doon at saka yung malapit sa'yo. Parang COVID yung effect niya eh. Lahat ng makaharap mo, ma-infect ng anthrax. So, we call it biological. So, when we say radiological naman, yan yung maraming radiation. So, when we say nuclear naman, yan yung mga nuclear weapons. Yan, di ba? So, that is the difference between your emergency medical service and the special operations. So, special operations, your keyword in determining whether or not this is a special operation is by looking with the material. If the burning material is caused by hazmat or hazardous material, or it is caused by the CBRN, ano yung CBRN ulit? Chemical, radiological, biological, and nuclear. Explosives or substances. So, pareho silang rescue. Saan? In terms of fire. Diba? Emergency medical service and special service. Pero mas broader sa emergency. Hindi lang siya fire. Pwede rin ang disaster. Same is true with special operation. Pwede rin ang disaster. Saan lang sila nagkaiba? Sa cause ng fire. So, the cause of fire is hazmat or CBRN. The answer is special operations. Next, fire arson investigation. The procedure in this section are clustered into 3 groups. Yan. So when we say fire, yan, pwedeng intentional, pwedeng unintentional, di ba? When we say fire. Tapos with the presence of the three elements. The fuel, the heat, and ano na to? The fuel, the heat, and
Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Come again?
Oxygen po.
Oxygen, tama. The fuel, the heat, and the oxygen. So long as kompleto yung fuel, heat, and oxygen natin, magkakaroon tayo ng fire. So, fire is either intentional, pwedeng sinadya, or pwedeng unintentional, pwedeng natural. However, if we deal with the word arson, question, are arson intentional or unintentional, or either unintentional or intentional?
Intentional po.
Intentional po.
Yeah, di ba? So of course, we know for a fact that if it is arson, it is the malicious destruction of someone's property. Sir, malicious destruction? Di ba malicious mischief yan? Wait, hindi pa ako tapos. Malicious destruction of someone's property through fire. Yan. So, sinunog. Yan. So, yan ang arson. Diba? Pagsira ng struktura ng ibang tao with the use of fire. So, that's your fire or arson. Investigation. So, whenever we hear or see investigation, what should be our objective? Are you done with your CDIN1? CDIN1, the Fundamentals of Criminal Investigation. Tapos yun na. Class.
Yes po, sir.
O, di ba? So, give me the objective of investigation. Ano ang purpose ng investigation? Sige. Answer. Yung nag-raise ng hand.
Sir, ano po? To look for evidences po.
Sige. Araguas. Ay, Araguas siya na yun, no? Pueto.
Sir, collecting facts po.
Di ba? In your CDI1, aside from that, ano pa? Collect facts, gather pieces of evidence. What else? What else? Identify the guilty party. Di ba? Aside from identifying the guilty party, what else?
To provide evidence of his guilt po, sir.
Nasabi na kanina pero in-enhance mo, okay lang. How about the others? Pare-pareho lang tao lang nagre-recite. Yes, Miss Chaida. Pare-pareho lang din.
Sir, to determine what crime is being committed po.
That's, by the way, that's the first, di ba? We have to determine what crime was committed. And if in case, are the elements of the crime complete? Kumpleto ba yung elements ng crime? Kasi kung hindi kumpleto yung elements ng crime, walang crime na nangyari. Same is true with fire, di ba? Pagka hindi kumpleto yung elements ng fire, walang fire na mabubuo, di ba? So aside from that, to recover, di ba? To locate the perpetrator and to locate the stolen properties in terms of property crimes and to recover it. So isa yun, di ba? Same is true with the conduct of arson investigation. So what should be the aim of the arson investigator? To identify the perpetrator.
Perpetrator po.
Yes, provide evidence for his guilt. What else? So ano pa dapat ang trabaho ng investigador? Determine the cause of fire. Yan. So titingnan niya kung first he has to determine the cause of fire. So parang pareho lang siya sa determination of the elements of crime. So titingnan niya kung mayroon bang crime nangyari. Diba? Sa CDI1. In terms of arson investigation, first is to determine the cause of fire. Bakit? Kasi doon natin makikita kung intentional ba yun or accidental. Kasi kung intentional yan, arson yan. Kung hindi yan intentional, di fire lang, di ba? Walang guilty party. Now, in case there is a guilty party, what will be the next part? Di ba? To identify and locate the guilty party. Kung sino yung nag-cause ng arson, di ba? That's second. And the third objective of the investigator is to provide evidence, tama, for the guilt of the arsonist. So, pareho lang, di ba? Now, what happens naman, sir, kung upon the discovery of the investigator, wala tayong nakita na sign of arson. So, walang intention, wala siyang nakita na fault, foul play. Diba? So, depende sa investigation niya, if the cause of fire is merely accidental, then hindi na siya mag-proceed sa identification of guilty party. Bakit pa siya maghahanap ng guilty party? Wala nga. Accidental nga. Di ba? Okay? So, that's for your fire and arson investigation. Next is the disaster management. So, when we say disaster, we have already defined and discussed types of disaster a while back. Di ba? So, what's lacking is the management, the word management. So, what is management? Management refers to the proper utilization of resources, di ba? So, proper utilization of resources to attain an objective. So, disaster management now will present procedures for disaster operations during typhoons, floods, earthquakes, landslides, tsunamis, and volcanic activities. So, sir, how does it differ now with the emergency medical service? So, specifically, when we say emergency medical service, it requires medical responses, rescue operations, di ba? While your disaster management, its objective is to reduce, okay, the effect of this disaster. Are we clear, class? Baka kasi magkalituhan kayo sa exam nyo later on eh. Baka perki nakita nyo, ay, disaster yan. Typhoon, ay, disaster yan. Depende, basahin nyo, di ba? I-analyze nyo yung concept, theories, and principle niya. If the objective, ladies and gentlemen, is to reduce the effect of an earthquake, landslide, flood, typhoon, tsunami, and even volcanic activity, we call that BFP operation a disaster management. Diba? So mostly, reduction of the effect. Aside from that, the procurement, the crafting of what? Of isolation area or relocation area. If there are persons needed to be isolated, i-isolate natin sila, lalo na pagka-pandemic, di ba? Pagka-pandemic related. Pero pagka naman plainly typhoon, flood, earthquake, edi relocation lang. Pagka nasira yung bahay nila, o kaya affected yung bahay nila sa typhoon, sa flood, sa earthquake, landslide, tsunamis, and volcanic eruption, eh dapat meron din tayong place for their relocation. So that's part of the disaster management. So with that class, time check, it's already 10:37. Medyo nahihirapan ako, makati na namunan ko. Namahan ako ng sipon. Biglang lumamig dito sa Baguio eh. So with that class, do you have questions before we dismiss? Ha? Class, do you have a question before we dismiss? Or would you like to
Wala
ha-
po, sir.
would you like to have a quiz?
Sir.
Ha? Patingin nga ng notebook nyo. Open cam, open cam, open cam. Now, okay. Thank you, Mr. Orliaza, Miss Michaida, Araguas, Cueto, Meridiano. Ganyan, dapat. Okay. So, now, in relation to when will be your finals, by the way? Kailan ang final exam nyo?
Sir, pagbalik.
January po ata, sir.
January?
Pagbalik.
Nagbalik? Matagal pa. Kailan ang break nyo? Kailan mag-start? Christmas break?
Sir, wala pa pong
Actually po,
sinasabi.
nakalagay po sa manual po last last school po is finals po. So, ano pa lang po siya, temporary po. Tapos na nakalagay po, ang pasok po is hanggang December 18 po.
18. Up to 18. So, by next meeting, we will be discussing specifically the fire safety enforcement. Yan. Kung paano sinasagawa yung fire safety enforcement. So, that will be our topic for next meeting. And the following meeting, Coast Guard operations. Okay? So, before we dismiss, do you have question, clarification, comment? Don't be shy. Say it now or forever hold your peace. Huh? Are you sure that you will pass this subject? Hindi. Okay na ba sa inyo ang 70 sa mga masisipag? Okay lang ba sa inyo ang 75?
Sir, meron lang po ako ano po about po sa quiz.
Sige lang. Sige
Kasi
lang.
po last time po yung mga quiz po is tama naman po kapag proactive plans or proactive planning po. Pero po dun po about po sa last quiz po. Planning lang po. Hindi po ba ano po, i-consider po yung plans lang po yung nilagay instead po ng planning.
Wala siyang ibang answer. Wala bang instruction? Pagka-instruction kasi is one word lang, you have to choose the correct word. Pero pagka
Hindi po,
instruction is two or more words, at least you have to choose the best two or more words.
hindi po sir. For example, proactive planning. Tapos ang sagot po proactive plans. Mali po
Plans.
yun. Opo.
So it's a matter of action word and a verb. Verb and adjective. Sige, i-recheck ko na lang.
Thank you po sir.
Natanawan.
May isa pa pong concern.
Sige pa, sige.
Doon nga rin po sa quiz, sir, may iba pong tama naman po yung sagot pero naka-X po. Mali po yung ano.
Yun nga eh. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na may nakalagay sa instruction na you should check your spelling because it's the computer, it's the system who checks it. So, malamang pagka nag-double space kayo, ang nakalagay dun, ang nababasa ng system is isang space lang yung tamang sagot, magmamali talaga, di ba? Kaya pagka may nalagay kayong maling spelling, mali rin talaga. Kung paano in-encode yung tamang sagot, ganoon din dapat yung pag-encode nyo. Kaya dapat walang unnecessary words, unnecessary symbols, unnecessary signs. Di ba you were given enough time naman for that? Para at least hindi ka nagmamadali. Sana. At saka, kung mataas naman ang exam nyo, hindi nyo problema yung quiz. Okay na yung pasa, di ba? Okay lang ba? Ayaw nyo?
Sir,
Ayaw nyo?
sasabihin niyo po yung score namin po sa exam.
Akala ko, pinarish sa inyo ni Dean. Kasi medyo natagalan eh. Kakasend niya lang this week. It's, I think, Monday yata yun. Or Sunday. Sunday. Hindi, Monday. Monday ko nakita eh. Hindi nyo pa ba nakikita? May problema lang ako. May ibang... Wait lang. Sorry. May ibang mabababa. But the instruction of the dean is to be strict, sabi niya eh. So I just hope wala sa inyo yun. 16
Sir,
na.
excuse po.
Sige.
Pwede po ba namin ipa-request kayo din yung grade po namin doon? Yung score po namin ng midterm.
Pwede. I-send ko sa inyo. Makikita niyo yung buong page. Makita niyo yung score ni Pedro, ni Juan. Parang matrabaho kasi pagka-individual eh. Basta class ganito. Don't answer, huwag kayong maniwala sa sa mga nililik na mga sagot. I never publish something like those. Dapat kayo, ang gusto kasi ni Denise, masanay kayong magka-comprehend ng question. You should answer exams or quizzes on your own. Don't base your answer from the idea of others or your seatmate. Bakit? Kasi each and every one of you, meron kayong sariling understanding, di ba? Lalo na kung kayo, tingnan nyo, kayo yung present during discussion, di ba? Tapos nung exam, nagtanong kayo ng sagot. Pinaniwalaan nyo yung sagot ng tao na hindi naman umattend dun sa klase. Di ba? Tama ba yung ginawa nyo? Mas naniwala kayo dun sa sagot ng tao na hindi naman umattend dun sa klase kaysa sa inyo na umattend sa klase. Tama ba yun? Kayo yung umattend, di ba? Dapat kayo yung mas nakakaalam. Di ba? So, your answer should be genuine. Dapat nanggaling mismo sa inyo. Ganyan ang board exam. Okay? Ganyan ang board exam. The purpose of the dean is to prepare you for the board exam. Kaya dapat daw pahirapan yung exam. Mostly, by the way, most type of exam in your board exam is more on application, analogy, critical thinking. Mostly mga ganyan. So, pagka-application yan, means to say, dapat alam nyo rin yung basics. Paano kung hindi nyo alam yung basics? Automatic, wala na kayong may sasagot sa application, di ba? So, dapat sa basic alam nyo, yung kahit na pagpalit-palitin yan, ibahin yung manner of asking, i-rephrase yung question, hindi siya pareho kung paano sinabi sa book. Pagka natanong yun, nakita yung keyword, alam nyo by heart, di ba? So, kahit na i-rephrase yan, ay, alam ko, ito yan, si Pedro yan. Ay, kahit na nakatalikod si Pedro, ay, sigurado ako si Pedro yan. Kilala ko yan, di ba? Parang ganyan ba? Any other concerns, ladies and gentlemen?
Sir, may bibigay pa po kay module.
Module? Notes? Pwede, ito mismo, itong ginamit ko. Ay, wait. Ang aga pala natin Nalito ako. Akala ko hanggang 11 lang tayo. Hanggang 12 pala tayo. Sorry. Hanggang 12 pala tayo. So, we have to resume. Sorry. Do you have to have a break? Or let's resume?
Break po, sir.
Narito ako. Ang klase ko sa UC kasi 1 hour 30 minutes lang. Ito pala 3 hours. So let's resume. So let's discuss the fire safety enforcement. Okay, allow me to share my screen again. So again, ladies and gentlemen, when we say fire safety enforcement, it is concentrated in building construction, di ba? So it starts here at 1.1, the building plan review. So policy, when we say policy, it is based on law. So pagka naman sinabi sa inyo, school policy, sabi ni guard, no ID, no entry. So for our security, para hindi makapasok ang mga gang from outside. Yung mga walang ID, talagang hindi ko mapapasukin, di ba? So it's for your own safety. Same is true with the implementation of the with enforcement of fire safety. Fire safety is being enforced by the BFP for the safety of the community. Yan, para hindi tayo magkasunugan. So it is lifted from Rule 9 of the Implementing Rules and Regulation of RA 9514. So what is 9514? It is the fire code of the Philippines, which mandates the conduct of building plan evaluation and the issuance of fire safety evaluation clearance, or the FSEC, as a prerequisite for the grant of building permit by the office of the building official having jurisdiction. So, ano pa yung office of the building official? Mostly, in cities, we call it the City Engineering Office. Okay? Yan. So, what again is there? It requires the implementation and observance of the IRR, Implementing Rules and Regulation of RA 9514. So, sabi, bago daw tayo makapagpatayo ng bahay, kailangan natin ng fire safety evaluation clearance. Okay? So, paano tayo makakuha ng fire safety evaluation clearance? Initially, dapat meron tayong building plan. And this building plan will be evaluated by the BFP. Yeah. So, what is the purpose of the building plan review? Its purpose is to ensure that designs, yung disenyo, yung plano, the plans, and specification of all buildings to be constructed are fire code compliant. So, when we say fire code compliant, means to say, hindi siya nagkukos ng fire, o kaya kung sakali may fire, at least meron siyang emergency exit ways. O kaya meron siyang fire prevention mechanisms. And that the FSEC is issued in accordance with the Fire Code and BFP Citizens Charter. So, pagka meron tayong FSEC, ano ulit yung FSEC? Fire Safety Evaluation Clearance. So, kung meron tayong FSEC, means to say, we are fire code compliant. So, means to say, we complied RA 9514. Before a building is constructed, its design must be compliant with the fire safety requirements of the Fire Code, RA 9514. Thus, construction of new buildings, structures, or facilities, or modification, renovation, alteration, yan yung sinasabi kong reparation, thereof requires FSEC. Kaya kung mayroong magpapatayo ng bahay, o kaya existing na yung bahay, existing na, ipaparepair lang, bago nila umpisan yung reparation, o kaya yung construction, dapat meron silang FSEC. Okay? So, Fire Safety Evaluation Clearance, FSEC. Questions? So, construction of new buildings, structures or facilities, or modification, renovation, alteration thereof requires FSIC. So, its scope, it covers the procedure in the issuance of fire safety evaluation clearance. So, ano din yung mga proseso para mabigyan tayo ng FSIC as a prerequisite for the grant of building permit by the office of the building official. So, saan na natin gagamitin ng FSIC? What is the purpose of the FSIC? It is a prerequisite for the granting of the building permit. So, who grants the building permit? It is the office of the building official. So, sometimes we call it the city engineering office. Okay? Question, class. Who issues the FSEC? A. Is it the BFP? B. Is it the office of the building official? Charlie. Is it the PNP? Or Delta? Is it the DILG?
BFP po.
BFP, okay. Now, another question. Who issues building permit? Same choices. Who issues the building permit?
BF.
BFP?
Office of the Building
Office of Building Official po.
O, di ba? So, learn to observe the difference. The FSEC is being issued by the BFP, di ba? So, what is the purpose of the FSEC? It is a prerequisite for the issuance of the building permit. So, who issues now the building permit? It's the City Engineering's office, or in generic term, we call it the office of the building official. So, means to say, hindi tayo pwedeng magpatayo ng bahay natin pagka wala tayong building permit. Diba? So, anong tawag doon? Illegal construction yun. Pagka wala tayong building permit na nagpatayo tayo ng bahay. So, the customer relations officer or the CRO receives the application. Okay? So, kunwari tayo yung aplikante, mag-apply tayo for building permit. Hindi mo na building permit. For FSEC, we will submit our application to the CRO, Customer Relations Officer of the Bureau of Fire Protection. Now, the Bureau of Fire Protection will inspect our application. So, mayroon siyang tatlong document na titignan dyan. First is the endorsement. So, titignan niya kung mayroon tayong endorsement. Second is the building plan. So, titignan niya kung mayroon tayong plano. Ano ba yung isa? Sige, sabihin ko pag naalala ko. After that, the assessor will assess the required fire code fees. Yan. So, titignan ni assessor kung magkano ba ang tax natin para mapatayo natin yung bahay na yun. And after the assessor has assessed our tax fees, the collecting officer receives our payment. And aside from that, he will issue official receipt or the OR. Diba? So, after we have received our official receipt, we will show our official receipt to the building plan evaluator. And this building plan evaluator now evaluates the submitted plan. So, titignan niya yung plano natin. Pag-aaralan niya kung okay ba, kung may mali. So, kung may mali, hindi papaayos niya, ipapakumpay niya bago niya tayo ipasa. Kung tama, hindi pwede niyang i-turn over kay Chief of the Fire Safety Enforcement Section. Yan. So, kunwari, walang problema sa plano natin. Ginawa ng engineer eh. It was now turned over to the Chief Fire Safety Enforcement Section. So, what will now be the next step? the Chief Fire Safety Enforcement Section will assign yan, building plan evaluator, and at the same time, after that, the Chief Fire Safety Enforcement Section will also review the findings and recommendation to the City Fire Marshal. So, sino yung City Fire Marshal? Kumbaga sa PNP, yung City Fire Marshal, siya yung City Director. Okay? Parang siya yung pinaka-head nila within the city. Now, after that, the city or station commander pala ang tao dito, station commander. Pag sa PNP, pero pagka sa BFP, we call it the city fire marshal or the municipal fire marshal. So, siya yung pinaka-head within the municipal BFP. So, the city or municipal fire marshal will now issue fire safety evaluation clearance. So, pagka tinanong ulit, class, who issues the FSEC? A, the building plan evaluator. Bravo, the chief fire safety enforcement section. Charlie, the city or municipal fire marshal. Or Delta, the BFP. Ano sagot?
Charlie.
Charlie po.
Sino yung Charlie? Sino yung
City
Charlie?
Municipal Fire Marshal po.
Fire marshal. Okay. So at least, so the fire marshal will now issue issue FSEC if approved, but if not approved, he will issue notice of disapproval. Yan. So pagka merong kailangang baguhin sa plano, hindi syempre ang ilalagay niya, notice of disapproval. Ayusin niyo muna yan. Pag naayos niyo, mabibigyan kayo ng compliance. Pag naayos niyo, saka ko kayo ulit pwedeng ipasa. So, building plan evaluation is an activity by the BFP wherein a building plan is reviewed by its building plan evaluators to determine whether the same complies with the requirement of RA 9514, the Fire Code, and its implementing rules and regulations. This likewise covers the issuance of fire safety ano itong FSEC? Enforcement clearance as prerequisite for the issuance of building permit by the building official. So, let's now proceed to the pre or before the inspection. So, the applicant secures and accomplishes the application form and submit the same to the Customer Relations Officer together with the following documentary requirements. Ito pala yun. So, endorsement from the building official. So, endorsement from the City Engineering Office. Okay? Tapos, 6 complete sets of building plans, including fire protection plans, such as but not limited to automatic fire suppression system, AFSS, fire detection, alarm, and communication system, or FDAS, and kitchen hood suppression system, or KHSS. Bakit? Mostly, cause din ng fire is kitchen, di ba? Aside from electrical firing. And faulty electrical wiring. And centralized LPG plant. So, dapat merong plano yung mga yan. 6 sets. Building plans. Aside from that, last is the set of bill of materials and labors. So, dapat nandoon yung mga bill kung kung ilang materials ang kailangan at kung magkano, ano yung mga materials na kailangan. Tapos labor, kung mga magkano ang gagastusin natin for the construction of our building. So, dapat meron tayo yan. So, 3 documents. Okay? Endorsement from the building official, 6 complete sets of the building plans, and 1 set of bill of materials and labor. So, kung meron tayo ng 6 na yan, ay na-6. So, meron na tayong 3 yan, requirements, then can we proceed to the next phase? The Customer Relations Officer checks the completeness of the above-mentioned documentary requirements and forwards the same to the assessor. So, pagkakompleto yung document natin, itong si CRO will forward our document to the assessor for the assessment of the fire code construction tax. So, yan yung ina-assess ng assessor. Kung magkano ba ang tax natin, construction tax. So, the reference for this is Rule 12 of the IRR of the Philippine Fire Code, RA 9514. Yan. For the computation of the fire code taxes. So, doon natin makikita kung paano natin i-compute yung fire code taxes. So, the assessor computes the fees and issues the order of payment slip. Okay? So, bago tayo magbayad, ladies and gentlemen, meron muna tayong OPS. Okay? So, ano yung OPS? Order of Payment Slips. Question, who issues the OPS? A, is it the Customer Relations Officer? Bravo, is it the assessor? Charlie, is it the Building Plan Evaluator? Or Delta, is it the Fire Marshal? Who issues the order of payment slip?
Bravo.
Ano yung Bravo? Confirm ko lang, ano yung Bravo?
Assessor.
Assessor, di ba? Andyan na nga eh. So, who issues the order of payment slip? Yan. After na-compute ni assessor, he will issue an order of payment slip or the OPS to the applicant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the applicant will bring the OPS. Okay? He will bring and show the OPS to the collecting officer. So, ipapakita niya sa collecting officer, ito yung babayaran ko. Okay? Para accurate yung bayaran nyo, para hindi magkulang, para hindi magsobra. Kasi pagka kulang or sobra, another process, di ba? Pagka sobra, sayang. Pagka kulang, another process. So, mas magandang dala nyo yung OPS. So, you have to pay the collecting officer the exact amount stated in the OPS. Kung sakaling kayo, kunwari, magpapatay ng bahay. The collecting officer issues the corresponding OR, official receipt, to the applicant. So, syempre, huwag niyong kalimutan, after you have paid, always claim official receipt. Actually, hindi lang dito in all of your business transactions, I recommend that you get the OR for your safety. Lalo na yung mga school fees. Kung minsan kasi, hindi lang naman school fees, actually lahat. Kung minsan kasi mapapadoble ka ng bayad, ikaw wala ka na present na resibo. O nagbayad ka na? Yes ma'am, iasan yung problema mo. Wala ka na yung resibo, nawala mo na. Hindi ka nagbayad. So, bayaran mo to. Di ba? So, doble bayad. That's the importance of keeping OR. Excuse me. So, the applicant presents the OR to the CRO for the issuance of claim stamp. So, ang kapalit ng official receipt na makukuha saan? Sa collecting officer is a claim stamp. So, where do we get the claim stamp? To the CRO, Customer Relations Officer. So, the Customer Relations Officer endorses to the Chief Fire Safety Enforcement Section the application form together with all the submitted documents. So, means to say, pagka wala tayong claim stub, hindi natin makukuha yung result. Diba? Yung result ng kanilang evaluation. So, means to say, iwan natin yung document, saka natin babalikan. Paano natin i-claim? With the use of the claim stub. So, after the chief, FSES, receive the document, he will immediately assign a building plan evaluator to conduct evaluation and review. Yan. So, magkakonduct ng evaluation and review. So, who conducts evaluation and review? It is the building plan evaluator. So, the building plan or the plan evaluator evaluates the submitted plans and specifications, accomplishes the standard fire safety checklist. So, take note of this, ladies and gentlemen. Yung the plan evaluator will accomplish the standard fire safety checklist. So, means to say, pagkakumpleto tayo ng checklist na yan, papasok tayo. Pero pagkakulang tayo sa checklist, may pagkakulang tayo, ipapakomply niya. On the building plans and prepares either the FSEC or notice of disapproval. So, pagkakumpleto tayo, meron tayong exit plan, meron tayong water hydrant, meron tayong location of fire extinguishers, and so on and so forth. Di pwede tayong mabigyan ng FSEC. Pero pagkakulang, ang ibibigay sa atin, notice of disapproval. So after that, the Chief FSES reviews the findings of the plan evaluator and recommends to the City Municipal Fire Marshal the proper disposition of the application. Means to say, ladies and gentlemen, hindi pa final yung sinabi ng evaluator. So, pwede siyang magkamali. Bakit? Kasi nire-review yung findings ni evaluator. Sino nagre-review? The Chief of the Fire Safety Enforcement Section. So, after the Chief of the Fire Safety Enforcement Section reviewed the findings of the plan evaluator, he will now endorse it to the City or Municipal Fire Marshal. And it will be the City or Municipal Fire Marshal who approves or disapproves the evaluated plans with a fire safety checklist. So, dapat kumpleto talaga yung checklist natin. And issues either FSEC. So, pagka-kumpleto, mag-issue ng FSEC. Pagkakulang, FSEC. Pagkakulang, he will issue notice of disapproval. And returns back to the CRO for its release. So, question. Who release? Sino ang nagre-release? Who releases FSEC? A. Is it the CRO? Bravo. Is it the collecting officer? Charlie. Is it the plant evaluator? Or Delta? Is it the fire marshal?
So, isa pa nga po. Naglalag po eh.
Who issues the FSEC? Who releases the FSEC? So kung tayo, kunwari, saan natin i-claim yung ating FSEC after we have applied for the evaluation? Nagbayad na tayo, di ba? Meron tayong claim stub. Kanino natin ipapakita yung claim stub para ma-release? So, who releases the FSEC? The fire safety enforcement clearance. So, kanino natin ipapakita yun? A. Is it the evaluator? The plant evaluator? Bravo. Is it the customer relations officer? Charlie. Is it the marshal? City or municipal fire marshal? Or Delta? is it the chief of the Fire Safety Enforcement Section?
Bravo po.
So, ano yung,
CRO.
Charlie po.
Relation.
ano yung Charlie nyo? Ano yung Charlie nyo?
Or
Chief
Marshal po.
Or Marshal.
CRO po.
CR.
Wala.
CRO po.
Sa Bravo
Customer
sir.
Relations Officer.
O, di ba? Di ba?
CRO.
Sino yung sumagot ng Bravo? Sino yung sumagot ng Bravo? O, yan. So, ang simple lang, di ba? Ang simple lang, nagkakamali pa tayo. So, the answer is the CRO. So, means to say, pagka inapprovean ni Fire Marshal, the Fire Marshal will now turn over the FSEC to the CRO. So, saan tayo makiklaim? Sa CRO. So, means to say, ladies and gentlemen, we will never get the chance to meet face-to-face the Marshal, the City Marshal, unless sinadya talaga natin, di ba? Pero ideally, hindi. Ang makakaharap lang natin dyan is the plant evaluator, the CRO, and the collecting officer. Pero in terms of the Fire Safety Enforcement Section Chief and Municipal Fire Marshal, hindi natin sila makaka-face to face. Okay? So, next. The CRO will record the FSEC control number and its date of issuance. So, i-record na yung control number ng ating Fire Safety Enforcement Clearance and at the same time, the date of issuance. Bakit? Kasi mayroon mga expiration din mga yan. Within 15 days, you should have done this. Mga ganyan. So, mayroon siyang expiration date. And after that, the CRO releases the applicant the evaluated plan together with the FSC. So, ano ulit yung FSC? The Fire Safety Checklist and the Fire Safety Enforcement Clearance or the Notice of Disapproval upon presentation of the claims tab. Okay? So, tingnan nyo ha. Kanino natin i-claim? The CRO, Customer Relations Officer. So, how many documents will be released by the CRO? Ilang documents ang i-release ng CRO natin? O, bilangin nyo ha. Excuse lang saglit. Oh, so ilan class? Ilan? So, what's your answer class? Ilang documents ang i-release ng CRO upon our presentation of the claims tab? A, 1, Bravo, 2, Charlie, 3, Delta, 4.
Charlie.
Charlie po.
Charlie, 3. So, tama.
Bravo.
Tatlo. So, ano yung tatlo? First is the evaluated plan. So, yung mga plano na sinabmit natin, yung 6 set of plan na sinabmit natin, di ba? So, yan, ibabalik sa atin. Aside from that, second is the FSC. So, ano yung FSC? The Fire Safety Checklist. Yan. So, gusto say, kinumpleto natin. Minarkaan nila yung mga nakumpleto natin. Tapos, your third is the FSEC. The Fire Safety Enforcement Clearance. So, bali tatlo. Pero ang problema, pagka-disapprove yung ating application, ang ibabalik lang sa atin is the evaluated plan, tapos yung checklist, fire safety checklist. So, means to say, kung ano yung mga hindi na-checkan doon, yun yung kulang natin, kailangan natin kumplituhin para mabigyan tayo ng FSEC next application, di ba? So, kunwari, disapproved yung ating application, ang bibigay sa atin is, ibabalik sa atin yung evaluation plan, the checklist, and notice of disapproval. So, anong gamit ng checklist? Diyan natin makikita kung ano yung kulang natin, yun yung kukumplayan natin. Tapos, saka ulit tayo magpa-process for another evaluation. Hanggang sa pumasa tayo. So, the criteria is evaluated building plans are or become fire code compliant. Nasabi ko na to kanina. At the corresponding FSEC are duly issued. So, if we have FSEC, means to say, so if we are given FSEC, means to say, we are fire code compliant. So again, what are the references of the BFP? They have their Rule 9, Enforcement and Administration of Fire Safety Measures, Division 1 to 3 of the Implementation Rules and Regulation of the RA 9514 or the Fire Code of the Philippines, Series of 2008. So yan yung ating batas. What are the other procedures or documents, references? We have the National Fire Protection Association or the NFPA. So, yes, as a reference. We also have that building code. So, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na building code. PD, Presidential Decree 1096. So, ano ang nasa building code, di ba? Ang nasa building code, sabi niya, kung meron daw tayong lote at magpapatayo ng bahay, at least meron dapat tayo na L-type. L-type direction of the portion of the lot, meron dapat tayong allowance na ibibigay na 1 meter na pathway. So, isa yun sa nire-require ng National Building Code. Aside from that, kung hindi man natin pwedeng gawin yung L-type, pwede rin naman natin na ipunin sa isang portion lang. Yung instead na L-type. Diba? So, instead of L-type, pwede natin ipunin yung dalawang equivalency ng portion of the pathway, gawin natin na 2 meters allowance. So, sa isang side na lang siya, pero magiging 2 meters allowance. Instead of tagwa 1 meters na L-type allowance of the plot, is pagka-rectangular or square yung lote. Okay? Naintindihan nyo ba, class? Yung PD 1096, sabi niya, pagka daw may lote tayo, titled, kwadrado, kunwari, rectangular or square, ang isang requirement dyan, di ba square yun? So, kukuha lang natin yung letrang L, yung gilid niya lang. So, tatapyasan natin yung lote. Kukuha tayo ng letrang L, pero meron dapat siyang 1 meter distance from the edge. I-reserve natin yun for pathway. Yun ang requirement ng building code. Pero kung hindi natin magagawang L-type, pwedeng isang type lang, isang side lang. So, isang side lang, pero dudublin natin yung size. So, instead of 1 meter, gagawin natin 2 meters. So, yan yung parang i-reserve natin na pathway or daanan o kalsada. So, hindi nyo lang yung daanan ng kapitbahay din. Yun ang purpose niyan. So, meron, aside from that, this National Building Code also has the policy and rules being observed during the conduct of demolition. So, kung may papa-demolish si Mayor, yung demolition order is guided by the National Building Code din. Diba? So, bakit ba magpapademolish si Mayor? Bakit? Because that structure was illegally constructed. Kaya ipapademolish. So, pwedeng inagaw ng squatter, ng squat, o kaya sa kanya talaga yung lote, pero meron siyang violation. Hindi niya sinunod yung result ng inspection ng BFP. Di ba? So, we also have here the Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers Code. Or the, oops, sorry. Ayan. So, we also have here the Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers. And at the same time, the Philippine Electrical Code. So, ano ang kinalaman ng Philippine Electrical Code? Kaya nasabi natin, most of the causes of conflagration are faulty wiring. Kaya dapat, pag magpapatay ng bahay, in-inspect din ng engineer, electrical engineer. And your RA 9292 or the Philippine Electronics Code and other related international codes on fire safety. So we have here the different forms. Of course, the application form, the order of payment slips, the official receipt, the fire safety checklist, the fire safety evaluation clearance plan, the evaluated building plans database or logbook, and the FSEC database or logbook. Okay. So the application form again is filled up by the applicant and it must be forwarded to the CRO, to the Customer Relations Officer. Okay? So the order of payment slip shall be released by the assessor. No. Tama. It shall be released by the assessor to the applicant, and the applicant will use this order of payment slip to pay the amount to the collecting officer. So, saan yan? Yan yung over the counter. Diba? Yan yung payments. Yung window kung saan tayo magbabayad. And at the same time, the collecting officer will also issue official receipt again. And this official receipt will be presented to the building plan evaluator. For what purpose? For the building plan evaluator to conduct the evaluation, the building plan evaluation. And this building plan evaluator will also check based on the fire safety checklist our compliances. Yan. So, kung kompleto tayo, edi walang problema. Kung kulang, edi ibablank ko niya yung kulang. Okay? And aside from that, if meron tayong kompleto, this building plan evaluator will recommend to the chief of the fire safety section the release of our FSEC to be reviewed by the city or municipal fire marshal. Now, pagka na-review nila, pipirmahan the city or municipal fire marshal yun, and from the city or municipal fire marshal again, that FSEC will be returned to the customer relations officer. So we will be now showing our claim stub to the customer relations officer, and the customer relations officer will now give back the 3 documents. So anong document ulit yun? The building plan, the checklist, and the FSEC. So, did you Did you get that, class?
Opo.
Now, by the way, nakalimutan ko lang. Before the CRO, by the way, release our document, nire-record niya sa logbook, di ba? So, we call that logbook Evaluated Building Plans Database or logbook. So, nire-record niya. Ano yung nire-record niya ulit? The control number and the date of issuance. So, dalawa yun, ha? Ang nire-record niya, the date of issuance and the control number. Tapos, of course, after he releases the document, we will have to sign yung applicant, yung recipient, we will have to sign the logbook. So, pipirma tayo sa logbook. So, that ends the process under pre-construction phase. Time check, it's already 11:30. I would like to continue pero mga nahihirapan na yung lalamunan ko, baka di talaga. So, with this class, do you have question? Do you have question, class? O last,
Wala naman po.
kindly open cam ulit. Kindly open cam and show me your notes. Show me your notes, sabi ko. Don't show me your cute face. Ayan, okay? Oh, Lanip, Pamela Rose, where are you? Fajardo. Ay, wala. Hindi nagsulat ng mga to, ah. Ayan. Okay. Okay. And the rest? Sige, sige. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Before we dismiss, do you have questions? Wala na? Malaza, do you have a question? Parang gusto mo pang kumanta. Pwede naman. Sige, kanta ka. Nakanta ka ba? Hindi.
Singer po yan, sir.
Oo nga eh. Nag-chat siya, nag-PM siya. Dancer ka rin daw. Fajardo. Baka gusto mo rin sumayaw. Kakanta siya, sasayaw ka. Nagpapalakpak na lang
Sir,
daw si, si Ma'am Pauline. Nag-PM rin. Siya na lang daw papalakpak. Okay? So, they're having none, ladies and gentlemen. Alam ko kayo eh, ganyan kayo pagka gusto nyo nang ma-dismiss eh. Ayaw nyo nang magtanong. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I just hope you have understood our discussion, brief discussion. So, prepare for quiz next meeting. Tingnan mo itong mga to, nakangiti kanina. Sabi kong quiz, bigla sumimangot. Nasira yung mukha. Hindi, mas okay naman pag may quiz kayo kasi mas na-retain. Diba? Mas na-retain. Sige, tingnan lang natin. Makiramdaman sa dami ng hangin. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your active participation and you are excused. Okay? Sige na, you are excused. Ayaw nyo?
Thank you po. Sir, thank you po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.